And whoa, this is an experiment. Wow. This is an experiment, right? I'm using a different means. Normally I use my phone, but last time, ooh, look at me in my head. Last night I used my phone and it was a disaster for me. So I really wanted to do this live. So I'm excited to do it this way. Hello. Okay, I'm live. It's a bit confusing, me staring at myself, my reflection. Okay. What did I want to talk about? Right. Let me start. My name is Melissa Blake, and I am the creator of Knotted Locs. I'm a small size locs loctician, and I teach DIYers online how best to utilize my knotted locs technique to create maximum locs fullness for a lifetime. I wanted to talk about rebellious strands today, Sisterlocks and rebellious strands, and maybe tie in with knotted locs and why knotted locs is great for rebellious strands. But first, let me show you one of my favorite things to do, because you know I'm a massive fan of African texture hair. So let me show you what I love to do. I love collecting books on our hair, right? I love collecting books on our hair, right? So this is The Science of Black Hair. And then I've got this one, Queens, right? All about celebrating our fabulousness and our fabulous African texture hair, right? Right? And another one I have is Posing for Beauty, Deborah Willis. And again, it's just historical. I just love all this. I love African hair, like all our stories. I collect beautiful images of melanated people and their fashion and their hair. I love it, right? And then I have this one. Afros, when I miss my afro. Afros. And this is all about like all different types of texture. We are just so diverse. We are so gorgeous. Blackness, African hair, beautiful. So if you're ever missing my afro, I just come in here and look at this. It's my favorite thing to do. And then I have this one. This is my first one. Guys, it's so old, right? Because I got it from a library. Back in the day, Amazon used to sell books, remember? And I got it through Amazon, right? And it was in better condition. But it's all about the history of African hair. East, north, all of that, right? Gorgeous. Look at us. Look at us. Right? So it covers all parts of Africa. All parts. It's beautiful. Right? They've stopped publishing it. Right? So all our history and beautifulness. So it covers east, it covers north, northwest, all of that, right? All of that. All our hairstyles. Beautiful, beautiful book. Right, okay, so one day, a client of mine was reading through this book, right? And this is what she read. Okay, so we're here. Look at us. Right, so we're here, right? And she reads, what did she read? She was reading about the Maasai, Fulani, West African nomadic people and their hairstyles. And it links with Tanzania. And they used to adorn themselves with like local fashion. They'd wear their hair generally the same throughout the region. Women usually had their hair like shaven or completely smeared with a mixture of animal fat and red ochre. Can't pronounce that. The typical Maasai warrior known as a Maroon grew his hair very long and had it styled by a fellow Maroon. The audience task took 15 or 20 hours to perform. First, the hair was parted from ear to ear, and then it was smeared with fat and clay, and twisted into 400 individual strands. Parted from ear to ear, and then in 400 strands, right? It looks like a bit like Sisterlocks, no? Small Size Locs, Sisterlocks. So that's when I was like, oh, wait. When I was totally in love with Sister, because I'm a researcher, and I remember it like it's supposed to take like maybe 10 to 15 hours, parted from ear to ear, 400 plus locks. I was like, that sounds like Sisterlocks, right? So this is my theory. I might be wrong, but they're also the strands at the strands at the back of the head were then grouped into 3 pigtails. So 3 sections, right? 3 sections. They were sectioned. So to me, this is like Sisterlocks, ear to ear, all of that, So anyway, I feel like this is where Sisterlocks lifted the literature. And it sounds cool, but I just also want to try and demystify this idea that like Sisterlocks is this exclusive kind of, it's not original. It's not that original. We've always had small size locks, right? And this was the Maasai people, this is how they wore their hair, right? So it's really important for you to understand that information is lifted and then refined and then packaged and then brought to the market, and then we buy into it, right? And in the case of Knotted Locs, what I'm trying to do is just be transparent. Like, you guys know my journey. That's why I've placed it on YouTube in forever, like from when I started to date. So you guys understand my journey. This is really important, right? Full transparency. So up to date, today, I was working with a client, and the client has tightly curled African texture hair, but very, 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 very tightly curled and very rebellious hair. She had Sisterlocks for a number of years, like 10 years plus, more than that even, right? And she started with such beautiful locks, Sisterlocks, like it started beautiful, but her hair is now like, it's damaged. And so I'm looking after her hair. And it's going to heal, but we need time. It's going to heal, we need time, right? But having a conversation with my client, I thought, let me come online and remind you guys of something that you probably already know, but let me just remind you, because that's why I'm here, right? Not every African hair type works like well with Sisterlocks. There's this African hair type that just doesn't work with. There's some that they just don't interlock. They just unravel. So those as well have a problem. But the one I want to talk about is the one that actually locks up, but it just doesn't keep the grid because it's just fuzzy, it's just messy, it curls, it moves around like out. And for Sisterlocks people, they find it really, really difficult. This is a conversation that I've had a number of times with clients. They find it really, 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 really difficult to work with hair that is what they call messy, right? And you have to understand this hair type, it generally has led to balding and hair loss. Now, there's a categorization that I absolutely do not like that comes with hair. And the categorization is that like 2A, 2B, 3C, and then people reach out to me and they go, I'm 4C. This means nothing to Melissa. I deal with African hair 24/7. It means nothing to me when you say 4C. Because 4C, like, anyway, it's just ridiculous, because literally, if you look at it on the I don't know, on the way it's set up, where the lowest, our hairs at right at the bottom, you've got all the straighter, curlier hairs, the 3As and the 3Bs and the 3Cs, and then you've got our hair, which is put right at the bottom. My specialism is the one that they've decided to put at the bottom of the category. But 4C hair is vast. It's so vast that I can't categorize it. I just know that a client's hair might be a bit straighter, lesser curled, more wavy, and that kind of thing. So it's hard to categorize this hair that I'm talking about. You can't categorize it. But maybe as I'm discussing it, you guys will understand the hair type that I'm talking about. And it literally is, this hair is quite dense, right? She started off with really dense hair, and it's just super curly, and it just goes everywhere. It's chaotic. Beautiful when wet, when oiled, when looked after right. Like, if this lady started with knotted locks, her hair would be continually full, continually gorgeous. But she started with Sisterlocks. And with Sisterlocks, it was about the grid, right? And when she noticed her hair was getting less, and she asked, could she stretch it out? The consultant, we said, no, because it's a lot of work. So this hair type is a lot of work. By the second week, she wets the hair and it just goes like fuzzy again. So, and you have to understand, with Sisterlocks, they're trying to find the grid. This hair type, Knotted Locs works brilliantly for. And I don't think I have that hair type. But thankfully, because I experimented on my hair and I've worked on different hair types, it's evolved into me. Obviously, I can work with this tightly curled African texture hair, right? So I wanted to talk about that hair. That hair type is allergic to Sisterlocks. They're not compatible at all. They don't get on. So even if it starts beautifully, it's just an illusion, and it's just that hair type. That's why it starts off looking full and beautiful. But long term, it just doesn't work. It gets flatter. She noticed it was getting flatter. She didn't really get pain. Like, it was tight. It was done too tight. And it's done tight, obviously, because they need it to stay in the grid. Right. So she's found Knotted Locs. She's come to me now. This is the second visit. First one, I said, wait 3 months. And of course, she's panicking. Everyone panics when I say wait 3 months plus, or around that. She came, sat in the chair, and it was a great session, because she realized, actually, my hair's not going to fall out. So that's the number one thing with Knotted Locs. Your hair's not going to fall out. You find out your hair's not going to fall out. And when we do a consultation, especially with the learners, I'll give you your tips and all of that, and you go away and you practice what I've told you, and you find your hair's not going to fall out. So that's the first bit that makes people nervous, when they realize their hair is going, they think their hair's going to fall out. Then something else that I've noticed happens with this type of hair, that people can be very negative about the language of their hair, especially when it's recovering and when it's growing back. And we have to watch that language. I did a post on that about, be careful of the negative language you use to refer to your hair. Be very careful. She doesn't understand what she's doing. And guys, you guys don't understand what you're doing when you describe your hair. You're describing it against Sisterlocks. Sisterlocks is neat grid formation, done every 6 weeks, right? What Knotted Locs says is, let's just leave it. Let's go with the feeling. Yeah, like, let's just be chilled about it. So because we're doing that, the natural characteristics of your hair comes through. But because you're not trained, you're not used to actually dealing with your own African texture hair, when it starts coming, you people start panicking. Oh my God, I couldn't cope. But you can cope. It's your hair. It's growing out of your head. Just like how your African hair suits you. Somebody would look and think, oh, I don't like her hair. It doesn't matter. I was born like this. I was born with my hair, this type of texture. I just have locks at the end of it. And I'm happy with it. I'm comfortable with it. Right? We need to start getting comfortable with our texture hair. I'm going to go bald. We're going to go bald. Right? So hair is this hair type that she comes in, and I say to her, because you're transitioning, because this is like, what would I say, the seventh month, because she did 3 months, then she did 4 months, rest. And then I did her hair. I re-locked her hair, or not re-knotted her hair, with a combination of knotting and interlocking. Because, you know, some my clients, they sit in the chair and I'm knotting. If the hair needs an interlock, I'll interlock, and then the next time I'll knot on top of it, because I'm trying to create a certain amount of thickness and consistency to the hair. Remember, my hair is the experiment, so I experiment on my hair, and then I know better, and then I do better on my client's hair. And when I'm teaching, I do better on your hair. But I needed somewhere. I need somewhere to experiment. So the experiment is obviously on my hair, not on a client's head, right? So now her hair is recovering. Her hair is recovering. And there's just so much growth. There's growth all here. They started growing. And because the client has a lot of grays, sometimes you guys, when you have grays, you don't understand that your hair is growing because it's translucent, but actually it's growing. And there's like big gaps where there's hair. But guess what, guys? If I had gone in and locked that hair, it'd be too early, because that is just like 3 months, 4 months growth. So I'm explaining, and I'm saying to her that, look, we would rush to, because that's the Sisterlocks mentality. Let's lock it up. But actually, it's not ready. It's baby hair. Remember the last post I did? Baby hair is trying to grow. It's trying to come through. Like, let the wind blow it. Let the environment like interact with it. Let it get stronger before we start knotting it or interlocking it. Even if I'd interlocked it, it'll unravel. So I was so excited about the growth. And I thought to myself, this is what Sisterlocks people look at, because there's hair growing between all of her locks. This is what they look at, and they just pull it, interlock it, pass it through, right? All of that. And there's no need to do that. Just leave the hair. Have afro locks. Let it just slowly progress into what it's meant to be. I have growth coming through now with my hair. I've left it. I'm not obsessed with knotting it away. But then I realize it's the indoctrination. It's the brainwashing, right? And we need to deprogram ourselves. So when I'm teaching knotted locks and hair starts coming through, guys, learners, don't panic. Don't panic. It's healing. When you start feeling like, oh my God, I'm struggling, I can't put my hands through. It's growth. Your hair's coming back. Don't panic. Enjoy it. Learn to separate. Be patient with it. Be patient. Go in, you know, gently. And when I do my consultation with you, I show you little tricks. Like, I think I do this, but people think I do this, but I don't. I like shake it. There's a way of doing it. And we practice during the consultation. I talk you through this. You're not on your own. But guys, we cannot panic about healing. And healing takes time. We can't rush it. We can't rush it. We have to gradually allow ourselves to adapt, our language to change, the way we interact with our hair. Let's understand, we're like children. We're not raised understanding our texture. Quick, it's permed away, it's braided away, it's weaved away, it's sisterlocked away. But actually, we're like children with our hair, even though we're big peoples, right? And we're big peoples. We can make decisions when we want to relock our hair. So that's what Knotted Locs is about. It's like, I can make a decision. I feel, I do. I don't feel, I don't do, right? But like, allow yourself, guys, to change your behavior, your thought process, and your actions. Allow that to come through. And then it's bliss. Vanessa, I'm going to reply back. If you're watching this, I am going to reply back to your message. And the reason why I'm referring to you, Vanessa, is because you sounded very panicked about your hair, and your hair is fine. So I'll just talk you through what you need to do. Don't worry about it. You're a typical example of somebody who has gorgeous hair, recovering, and we are just too dramatic. Vanessa, you're over dramatic with your hair. There's no need to be that dramatic. It'll be fine. I'll talk you through the process, and I'll get back to you. And everyone who's sending their inquiries, I apologize. You know, guys, do you understand that I work with clients? I work with clients. And because I've been teaching so much, sometimes I forget that I need to book my clients in. So if my clients are watching this, I apologize. Sometimes I'm like teaching when I should be actually doing clients' hair. But the work I do is hands-on. So, and it's just one person, it's just me. So it's hard. But like, I'm trying to do a lot more client work on the head. Also, if you're watching this and you have larger size locks, I do work with larger size locks, because larger size locks is my inspiration. It's larger size locks that I was working with. I looked at and I thought, why are they enjoying like freedom of choice? And they can just call me, and then they can just turn up and get their hair done. And I have to do my clients every 6 weeks, and it's too regimented. So I still work with larger size locks. I just interlock. You can't be knotted if you're larger size, and the smaller size, obviously, I knot. So what I'm hoping is this message reaches somebody who is panicking about their hair and is really worried. Let me tell you something. Water is your best friend. I swear water is your best friend. It's just that when you interact with me on a one-to-one, I reassure you, it's not enough me just telling you water is your best friend. But when I'm interacting with you, you begin to understand why you need to chill out and wet your hair, because the wetting of your hair enables you to be able to separate it, right? But when I speak to you, what I like about the one-on-one, I've talked to you guys about it before. When I speak to you individually, there's a language that I identify, and then I'm able to support you, like about with your hair texture, so that you don't panic, right? That's why I like the consultation, because the consultation happens, and then I teach you later on, and then we can have a whole conversation about what happened, and then against that, I'm able to teach you. But it's all good, like it's all fine. It's good. I'm here to reassure you that when you're having new growth, you need to chill out and enjoy it and stop being like, oh, I was worried about my hair and I thought, like, it's not, it's coming through, and you just have to adapt. And don't rush the process. Like I always tell you guys, Knotted Locs is ease, it's chilled. Look at me, I'm trying. I'm online, I'm live, I've been working, I'm tired, but I'm here and I'm doing the work. This is to inspire my learners. You see, I'm telling you, do the knots, do it little by little, don't rush it. This is what I'm trying to do here. I'm not a social media person, but I'm here. I'm tired, but I'm here. So learners, be inspired by the fact that Melissa is here, even though I don't really have to do this, but I really want to shift out of my comfort zone. And also, obviously, I learned my lesson where I relied on somebody else, Tavisha, to do some of the Knotted Locs work for me. I realized I need to do it myself, right? So that's what I'm doing. Do you get the message? If Sisterlocks is not working for you, please let me explain something to you. If Sisterlocks is not working for you, Knotted Locs is an option, but let me explain something to you. Guys, you keep messaging me about the fact that you love Knotted Locs, and is there any consultant in the US doing Knotted Locs? No, guys, I do not teach anybody to do somebody else's hair. You understanding? I don't teach anyone to do somebody else's hair. I don't teach anyone to teach somebody how to do hair, especially if somebody has mixed heritage, straight looking hair, right? And doesn't know what they're doing with their own hair, because the questions they've asked me doesn't make any sense, right? Because it's too basic, right? And the hair texture is different. I'm talking about Felicia. I've changed her name. But you have to understand, the only person who's rolling this out in terms of me doing the work on someone's head is Melissa. There isn't a consultant out there that I've taught. If I am going to teach somebody how to teach this, I will let you guys know. This would be the space you would come, and I will tell you, because I am the creator. I am the person who's doing the work, and I know the knowledge is complicated. And if it's complicated, why would I be now, even me, I'm trying to get my head around African hair. Why would I then give somebody that knowledge that's not even worked on African hair, hasn't got knowledge? It's just sitting as an influencer, just talking with their hair straight and curly and straight and curly and straight and curly. Like, this work is African hair, the tightly coiled one, is complicated. And let me tell you guys something. I think I'm a bit dramatic, right? I apologize. I was really emotional when I found out what Thevisha did. I was really emotional. So I'm going to take part of that disclaimer back. I need to chill out, because I guess you guys could, because easily people thought that we were collaborating. We're not collaborating. If I were collaborating, I'd have announced it. Anyway, so those who have actually knotted and are concerned about their hair, you can reach out to me. I was a bit dramatic with my disclaimer. I was like, oh, I don't want to, So I'm calmed down, and you can reach out, because there are, like, I just don't believe in starting all over again. I'm not that person. I just like, this is where we're at. Because if you see my hair in the past, this is where we're at, and we can make good. That's what I like. I like saving locks. So you can still reach out to me, and we can have the conversation. If it's really bad, then I'll let you know. And if we can save the hair, then I'll let you know. But I'm trying to tell you people something. The knots is no joke, when you place the knots and you don't know what you're doing, you can really panic, because we do this headspace chat with our and it can be negative. So be careful, you know, you go to somebody who's not experienced, who is not Melissa Blake, and you go and you go and learn to knot your hair through somebody else, or you go and try and wing it. It's your hair. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So I'm here. If you're in need of that support, that's why I'm here. What I noticed Thivisha did with me when we were bonding as friends, she tried to make me panic many times. She tried to make me panic many times and say, "Oh, you're gonna be so busy." Da, 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 da. But that's actually I can see now what her style is. Yeah. But what I realize is I'm not that person. So I'm a present day person. I look at you, I talk to you, and I connect. And then I connect and I give you all the information from all of my past experience from a place of love and wanting your hair to thrive, right? And then the rest will take care of itself. So when I get super busy, I'll just be transparent and say, okay, this is what's happening. I'm struggling. This is what's going to happen next. And then you guys can give me feedback and we can just grow together. This is not complicated. The process of us evolving and changing the way we interact with our hair isn't complicated if we stay present. And so those who have the rebellious hair, who's struggling and think they're doing something wrong, and let's say whilst you're trying to separate, you've mistakenly pulled out a lock, you know, that's fine. Like I talk to you, when I teach, I also teach you little tricks with your hair. When you're learning, bring the lock that you've lost along and we'll talk about it. Nothing is so, you know, the hardest bit that is scary, like nothing is so detrimental as like when you are bald and you have to lose your locks. I don't want it to get to that. But honestly, when I'm here because I just think our hair is gorgeous. And I think when we think about ourselves when we were younger, how amazing our hair was, and then we become adults, it's just like our personalities. We had these amazing personalities. We had a zest for life. And then we become adults and we move from teenagehood into young people and then adults. And then we lose this spark and this, I can do anything. And, you know, it's the same with your hair. Your hair's thriving. It's beautiful. And then we perm it away. We do stuff with it. We disturb it. And then we try and go back to the way it used to be. And then we really struggle with it. And that's why I'm here. I'm here because I have the same story. But what we can't do is apologize for the way we come and exist. The color skin, this facial structure, the type of hair, the way, how we choose to identify ourselves, how we choose to interact with our hair. People can have an opinion, but it's not their business because I'm grown and you're grown. And we need to start moving into that because people are too fast and too quick to be speaking about people's business. You don't know my story. They don't know your story. You need to start overthinking these things, stop overthinking these things and just be how you want to be. And that's why I am here. And I appear like this unapologetically because this works for me because I'm busy. I'm busy. But understand something. Your hair texture is your hair texture. Again, I said this in a previous post. Knotted Locs is not going to change your curl pattern. Knotted Locs Melissa teaches you Knotted Locs. It doesn't mean you're going to get my hair texture. Whoever's teaching you Knotted Locs does not mean they're going to give you their hair. Even when I'm working on a client's hair, I create knots, which is designed to separate the small size locks, but it's not to change the texture. Your texture is your texture. My texture is my texture. Full stop. You learning from somebody who has straight, curly, mixed race looking hair and your hair is African, tightly curled means nothing. Your hair is going to still be like that. And if you try and get your hair more like that, that's where you lose your hair. That's what's happening with Sisterlocks when you try and change the format, the characteristics of the hair. We just need to be more accepting of the way our hair is and move on from that and not start panicking and worrying about the fact that our hair is not right and what will people say, because that's when we have a problem. We are in transition in terms of how we're interacting with our hair, and we need to be patient. We need to be really patient, because when you're patient and you're healing, then more growth comes. But if you're impatient and you're pulling and you go and you rush and you panic and you go to a Sisterlocks person, let's say you've learned Knotted Locs, you think, oh, it's going wrong now, and then you go and decide you're going to go to a Sisterlocks person to do your hair, then what you're doing is you're cancelling out the process of growth. What you need to do is, if I've taught you, is reach out to me and then we can talk. I can talk you through what you need to do. But understand, when the hair starts coming, when the hair starts coming, it's crazy. You're like, oh my God, I feel like I can't cope. that's when you realize you have lost so much hair, but you've not given it the break. And when you used to give it the break, you were still going in and getting it tugged and pulled repetitively. I believe that I exist because you guys need support, and you need real, authentic support. You know what I mean? I see you. I understand you. Calm down. A lot of the times, my learner just needs me to just dial in, have a conversation, and they're like, Mel, I've got this. That's all you need. But you need it on a real, on a grounded level. And that's where I am here. I hope this message reaches somebody who needs to hear that you're all right as you are. You don't need to go bald. You just don't need to lose your hair, go bald, trying to be something your hair is not. Trying to get your hair into something it's not. This is an option. You can start your hair with braid locks, extensions. You can start your hair with Sisterlocks. You can start your hair with Microlocs, fine locks, small locks. However you want to start your hair with twists, it doesn't matter. You can start your hair any way you want. Knotted Locs is there to support you after your locks are established, right? Because it's just a method to keep your locks separated for longer. Is that clear? Do you understand that? That's the message for today. I hope this message reaches somebody who needs to hear it, who wants to live in a different way with their hair and wants to just be grown and make grown decisions, and just wants to see the possibilities of how they could create maximum locks fullness for a lifetime. Thank you. Take care of yourselves. Until the next time.